Hi, I'm Bob Vila. Welcome to our storm-ready house in Punta Gorda, Florida. The house is rapidly nearing completion, and today we're spending all of our time in the kitchen. I'll be showing you a builder's line of kitchen cabinets, how they're made, what features the builders look for. We're also looking at solid surface countertops. We'll learn all there is to know about the latest in Corian, including the molded built-in sinks and also the vanities. Stick around. Kitchen, and we're going to get started with Jack Ballantine. Hi, Jack.
Hi, how you doing,
Welcome
Bob?
to the scene of the crime here. Now, we want to talk about these kitchen cabinets because they're a builder's line. They're kind of like buying wholesale, sort of.
Right.
Who makes these?
Cardell Cabinets out of San Antonio, Texas.
Out of San Antonio, Texas. And what kind of wood are they?
These are maple.
So it's solid maple frames and panels?
The face frame is maple, solid wood. The doors are maple. Pressboard box is a build-up as standard to the building industry.
Pretty much.
Builders, yes.
What about the hinges?
It's bloom hinges.
Bloom.
Yep.
So they look like the European hinges, fully adjustable and all of that. And what we have is a situation here for the stove hood and below me the cooktop.
Right.
And we got room for drawers underneath that. What's the drawer construction like?
This is pressboard. Like I said, this is a builder box for the builder grade homes.
But the front is solid.
It's solid wood here.
Mm-hmm. Now, we keep saying builder. What is a builder or a developer, somebody like Mercedes Homes, for example, what are they looking for from a cabinet supplier?
They give you quality cabinetry, but they don't try to give you the top of the line.
Mm-hmm.
They give you more of an affordable cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
But the grade of it is it's acceptable. It'll hold up, and in Florida, it's excellent.
And what about dependability in terms of delivery?
Oh,
getting there on
Cardell
time.
gets their delivery is 3 to 4 weeks. They stand up to that consistently.
That's important.
Yes. Ambassador Kitchens, they probably get in anywhere from 3 to 6 tractor trailers a month.
A month. And they're using woods that are native species.
Right.
Because all of these woods are grown in Texas through the south and into Florida, and so they make a lot of sense.
Yep.
Good. Well, let's look over here where Rich and Jose are getting ready to install some of these uppers. All right, so this is a box that goes over the refrigerator area.
Yes.
And you got to mark where it goes. Now, the exterior walls of this house are all solid concrete, which would be not too easy to be driving cabinets onto, but these are interior partitions and they're steel. So how do you figure out where your nailer is?
Well, on the the rest of the perimeter of the kitchen, we've had deadwood, which is just a wood put between studs.
Mm-hmm. Just nailer.
As a nailer board just for my cabinets.
Okay.
Walls that don't have it, we have to find the studs, just use a small finish nail, something like that.
All right, then the next unit that goes next to it is a bookshelf, right?
No, that just has the doors taken off.
Oh, you took the doors off.
Faces up.
Mm-hmm.
Makes it a little easier to lift too, but
okay.
Mostly so I can get the faces lined up without trying to.
Now you've just got them tacked up with 2 screws. Obviously, you're going to be putting in a few more.
Yeah, once I get them all screwed together and I know my faces are good and everything's leveled off, then I can come back in and put my additional screws in it, so I'm not pulling a bunch out if I got to line it back up there.
And the key thing here is you've used your laser level to establish a level line.
Yeah, the height of what my bottoms will be. After I get these 2 connected, I refine that line. If it's a little high or low, since this one's set, it's off a little bit.
Right.
I just bring my line back to this and continue along my way.
Okay. And we've got 2 sticks that are cut to that height, working as
with a
dead
little
men.
angle, so you got a little bit of adjustment up to them, yeah. Back it down a little bit.
All right, so now we will connect number 1 to number 2. Rick, what kind of screws are you using?
I have a 2.5-inch flathead, square drive, zinc coated, has a Woodmaster tip on it. Basically, you can pre-drill through one cabinet. You don't have to pre-drill into the second cabinet.
Oh, that's good.
The tip on it's serrated, so it cuts away like a drill bit would. As long as you're not going 2 inches into the next piece,
Right.
you're good.
You're good. Terrific. And then once you've got them all secured, you'll reattach the doors.
Yeah, after they're all together, fastened off, top and bottoms, then I put the doors back on, adjust them back up, finish it off to the wall.
Nice job. Okay, the door's back on, so the overhead cabinets look nice and finished. And we've got the base cabinets in place. Is it pretty level, Rich?
Yeah, it's not too bad off. We're sitting at the front corner over here with the light on it.
Yeah.
The beam light on it. And I've got to lift it back up a little bit this end, just a touch.
Okay.
Which isn't unusual with tile down. They kind of run with the floor. When you got tile this large, you have to kind of stay flat.
Sure. So it's just another instance of finding the place to shim it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Go ahead.
I've got the back corners and stuff is about all I got to go.
So that level line is consistent along the wall and even 2 feet out from the wall. And that's how you can make sure that it's going to be level in both directions. All right, so now we cut the shims out of our way, and then we'll dress the front of the toe kick. This is the crown molding, which is the last step at the top, and Rich is just measuring for cutting the 2 angles, and then he'll glue all 3 pieces together before attaching them, and this is what the finished look will be. All right, Scott Lawyer is our man. He's going to be putting in the kitchen cabinets, but before he took away this template, I wanted to talk about why do you need a template in the first place?
Well, every kitchen's different, and we need to bring this kitchen to our shop so we can fabricate it.
So by making a template, you're practically actually doing what you just said. You're taking this kitchen to your workshop.
Exactly.
Why don't you just work here at the job site?
Too many tools, too many equipment.
Yeah. You want a good stationary table saw and all of that. All right. Well, in a few minutes, we're going to be finding out about how you install the Corian. But how did you make the template?
Basically just taking the sticks, hot glue gun, taking some real precise measurements and such like that.
So you're going from the blueprint.
Yes.
Right. And you're just using Luan plywood instead of cardboard or anything else.
That's correct.
And why do you have to use well, the glue gun is just to glue these pieces together.
Yeah, just to attach it so it's a firm, positive connection.
Okay. And then when you're done, you take them back and you actually superimpose them on the raw stock, the Corian.
Yeah, and the fabricators take this, put it on the Corian, draw it out, and fabricate it to it.
No room for error.
Extremely little.
Good. Okay. Well, in a minute, we'll start putting down the Corian. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Andrea Johnson is with us now from DuPont Corian. Hi.
Hi, Bob.
How are you?
Great to see you.
Good to see you. So when I first used Corian, it was white. You could have it any color you wanted as long as it was white.
Correct.
Obviously, things have changed, huh?
Things have changed a lot. Over 100 colors of Corian in different colors and patterns to choose from.
Unbelievable. Can these come out?
They can.
Look at that. Orange strip. Well, I don't know what they're called, but it looks like ice cream. And so it's still the same product, except how do they get this incredible range of colors? Better living through chemicals, right?
Better living through chemicals.
Okay. Now, why should we consider Corian for, this kind of application?
Well, Corian is non-porous, scratch and stain resistant, very easy to clean, no special cleaners needed.
Right.
It's very durable, great warranty backed by DuPont.
Right. And it is a product that lasts forever, because I've
It will
seen
last a
kitchens and
lifetime.
baths that have had the installation, 20 years ago, and it's still around.
Absolutely. More than 35 years now.
So staying with this whole theme of the variety that you've got, we are using, well, we've got this one already down.
We do. We're using Canyon In the kitchen.
This is called Canyon.
Canyon.
And it looks for all the world like a natural stone.
Absolutely. In fact, the newer colors of Corian are inspired by nature to bring calmness and stability into our busy lives, and we've done that in the kitchen here.
Now, it always comes through in this thickness, right?
It does. It's a half-inch thick, but what you see here is a built-up edge.
A built-up edge, so that essentially they fabricate in the shop.
Right, make
and
this edge
they
profile.
turn it, and then they sand it, and it looks like it's a nice thick slab
Sure
of
does.
stone. So you were telling me earlier that there's a whole kind of new line of earth colors.
Yes, yes.
And-
Created it, by nature, wanted to bring the outdoors in to give the warmth of the outdoors into your home.
So that one's Canyon.
Canyon. This is silt, and silt is featured in the master bath and the hall bath in this home.
Okay.
In both cases, we used an integral sink. One of the beauties of Corian, that you can make that seamless integral sink.
Yeah, we're going to look at that in a minute. And then this one?
This is Aurora, and this is, for about 5 years now, has been our most popular seller. It's very neutral, so it can go with any decor in your home.
This is my favorite.
This is one of the new colors of Corian for this year. Again, inspired by nature. Let's check. I have to cheat. That's fawn.
Fawn. It looks very, very similar to a stone that is called Pietra Serena, with just the little tiny flecks in it like
A little
that.
bit of different patterning in the new colors this year.
And then this is kind of a celadon.
That's tranquil, and isn't it?
What's it called?
Tranquil.
Tranquil. That's a
Yes,
good name
yes.
for it. Yeah.
And whisper.
And
And that's serene sage.
serene sage.
Yes, yeah, and you can tell they're all given the names that really complement nature.
Now, when you figure out what it's going to cost you, does it matter whether it's one of these new colors or whether it's the plain white?
It ranges in color depending on particulate size and the group that we have Corian separated into.
All right. And the one thing about all of these man-made surfaces is that they're really not meant for the do-it-yourself or homeowner.
No, they aren't. In fact, Corian, DuPont does certify fabricators and installers, so your Corian countertop will have to be installed by a certified fabricator and
And
installer.
Scott, who was just making templates a minute ago, is coming in, if we make room for him, with the section that has the integral sink.
Right.
And this, of course, before you put it down, can you just hold it for a minute so that we can take a look at it? This is the underside of the sink. And go ahead and put it in. I know it's heavy. But this is not a molding process, right? I mean,
Correct. It's a seaming process. We
Yeah.
actually use liquid Corian to seam the sink with the countertop, so it has one consistent seam.
So the sink itself is made in the factory.
Correct.
And then what the fabricator has to do is marry it to the countertop
They
material.
do. And it really creates an ease for cleaning. As you see, there's no edge or grunge line like you would have with a drop-in sink or even an undermount sink.
Right. It's all one smooth transition.
Correct.
Yeah. All right. Are you going to bring in the second section too?
We can do that.
Okay. Yeah, I think that is very, very handsome. You know, it's interesting because they've made choices, our homeowners, that are generally on the dark side.
They are.
And I was saying the other day that it's nice because it's so hot in Florida. I mean, we're dripping here.
Yes,
because
we
the
are.
the air conditioning
You can
isn't
see.
working yet. And these darker colors are a little bit soothing. Are we in your way here,
They
Scott?
are.
Okay.
And they've done a fantastic job marrying the countertops with the floor tile in this case.
Gotta go your way.
And in a second, we'll see how we put the seam together. Levi here is going to be making a seam, right?
Yes.
What are those blocks on top for?
Basically, those are just used to press the seam together after he puts the glue inside of the seam,
I see.
which he's doing right now.
What kind of glue is it?
It's Corian. It's actually liquid Corian.
It's liquid Corian.
Yes. It's matched to the product itself.
Exactly. So depending on whatever color you're using, you get the...
Get an assortment of different color glues.
Exactly. Take the spacer out, and
He's already got it leveled out. He's already checked the seam to make sure it's nice and square,
yeah. And then he adds a little bit on the surface.
just to make sure that it's fully full of glue.
Yeah.
No air bubbles.
And now, is there any clamping involved?
Yes, you'll be using 3 clamps, one on each set, to pull the seam together and level it out.
Squeeze out the excess.
This just tightens it down real tight
Sure.
to make sure it's nice and closed.
Okay. So how long does that have to set up?
15 to 25 minutes, depending on humidity.
And then there's a little bit of sanding involved, right?
Yes. And then it becomes a seamless joint, and you don't even see it.
Ah, the grand finale. Isn't this terrific? All right. Thanks, guys. Nice job, Scott.
Thank you.
All right, Mike Goodrich is here to install the dishwasher. What do you do first?
First, we've drilled some holes in the cabinet, one up at the top for our drain line, one down low for our water supply coming in off the hot side.
So that's going into here, right?
Into the cabinet, yes, sir.
I see, okay.
And we've already installed our dishwasher 90 on the bottom, which is what's going to tie in our water line.
This is a beautiful Whirlpool machine, isn't it? I don't know if I can open it. Oh, yeah, there we go. Oh, yeah, I love the way they've changed stuff around nowadays so that you can load all sorts of tall stuff. Okay.
Very nice appliance.
This doesn't come off?
No, sir. That's an insulation. It keeps the sound down a little bit on things, makes it a little bit quieter for folks.
And that's one of the key things that people are looking for is a nice quiet machine.
Yes, sir.
All right, let me know if I can help you.
Basically, we're just going to slide the dishwasher drain line up through the top hole, giving us our air gap. We're going to plug her in, provided the electrician left us enough room. Let me just slide her back a little bit here. Yeah, I'm going to have to slide that in later. From underneath. He's got it so far out. Basically, she'll just slide back in.
Boy, that looks handsome.
We'll adjust it up by some legs down on the bottom here. Make sure everything's nice and tight.
Yeah, that's one of the key things to making sure it works right and drains right.
So we just kind of look up, make sure everything's good and level, nice and straight on the side.
Now, how will you be attaching the top of the machine to the counter?
Underneath, there's a couple of small clips.
Yeah.
And it's wood underneath here, and just a couple of small screws go in.
Right into the wood
And that-
substrate?
Yes, sir, and that keeps it from tilting forward when you have the door down and it loaded.
All right, and that's all there is to it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mike. And we're out of time. Next week, we're going to be putting down a cool deck finish around the concrete surround of the swimming pool. We'll be installing a Toto toilet and a hurricane-proof garage door. Till then, I'm Bob Vila.